What's up, everyone? It's your boy Tech. One of my guys calls me El Teco, by the way, like I'm some mafia boss or something. I'm like, El Teco. But it's your boy Tech, it's Geek versus Nerd. We have a lot to talk about in this episode, so let's go! Alright, so I hope you're having an amazing weekend. I've gotten some rest also. Got to watch some really interesting stuff during the course of this week, yesterday, even earlier today, just so that I can give you all the sweet stuff, what to watch, what to avoid, and all that stuff. We still post trailers on our channel on Instagram. It's GVNNaija. And also, this is on Instagram, on that same page, or on YouTube, whichever one you're watching. And also advertising. So first and foremost, it's 2 years already since Endgame came out, right? And I remember being one of the people that was crazy about it then. I mean, I love Endgame. It's a solid movie. It's a solid Marvel movie. It's a solid movie in general. And I mean, for those of us that watch this in cinema for the first time, we had those moments that made us stand up and scream like, oh my God, oh my God. Like, remember when Cap got Thor's hammer, right? I mean, that was a major moment. I mean, who didn't scream, really? No matter what levels you want to put on that, we know the scream. We know the scream for cinema. I bet you screamed because I screamed. It was crazy. It was fun. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, you know how Infinity War went. It was all, and I was like, oh, I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good. The next thing, we saw the guys coming back into the screen, right? So it was crazy, it was intense. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I just thought I'd put that in. 2 years, greatness in the cinemas, I enjoyed it. And which is what makes it one of the best times to be alive. I know I say that maybe almost in almost every episode, and I'm saying it again. So remember I spoke about the Nevers a couple of episodes back. Link to that one is here. There are a couple of stuff I also spoke about then. I got to watch it, so it's ongoing. It's on HBO and HBO Max. 4 episodes are out at the time of releasing this video. I'm yet to see the newest one, but I just want to talk about it. If you guys haven't started watching it, I recommend it. It's really nice. So it's got like, I spoke about it earlier from the synopsis I got before I started watching it, right? There are ladies and some guys with powers, and they are called the Touched. That's like their fancy name for mutants. So it's like, in every episode, I mean, honestly, you might be confused whether the name of the series is The Nevers or The Touched. It's like, if you did a drinking game, whether it's water or alcohol, you take a shot anytime the word touched is done. I think you'll be tipsy by the time an episode is done. It's that much. Now, why am I mentioning this series and why am I recommending it? The 3rd episode had one of the best action sequences I've seen in any piece of media ever. And I am not exaggerating. You guys need to watch it to understand what I'm saying. And after I was done with the episode, I mean, I wouldn't be a geeky nerd without actually going further in depth. I went further in depth and they were kind enough to show the BTS, that's the behind the scenes of how a particular scene in that episode, which was the scene I'm talking about, which is the scene I'm talking about right now, the way that scene was filmed, and it was beautiful. It was a sight to behold. It made me wish I was actually part of that crew because they made something truly groundbreaking. So The Nevers, I would definitely recommend it. I think you guys should watch it. You will enjoy it, right? Now, moving on, Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone was released last week Friday to be precise, and I eventually got to watch it. It's really good. I really liked the story of Alina, who is our protagonist, the female protagonist, and Mal, the male protagonist. At the core of it, so for any piece of media that you watch, it's just in case, whether it's a series or a feature film, for some of you that might not know and some of you that do know, it's broken into a 3-act structure. There is the beginning, which is the introduction, there is the middle, which is the conflict, and then there is the end, which is the resolution, right? And you could tell if the story is properly told, if it does not deviate too much or in any way from the introduction, because that is the core, that is the foundation. It's like the foundation of the building, right? If the foundation is faulty, then the rest will fall flat. I mean, that was one of my issues with the Mortal Kombat movie, right? So in this case, is the story of Mal and Alina, and not giving away too much, but these kids are orphans, right? And the way it is with like the foster care system and all that, kids get separated later on in life. Sometimes even kids from the same parents will get separated and they don't get to see each other until later on in their life, that kind of stuff, right? In their own case, it's the two of them, and they found a way to foster their friendship, which it just blossomed into something beautiful. And then we got our main protagonist, our other antagonist, which is Ben Barnes, General Kerrigan. He played the role very well. See, you have to watch it because I don't give away any spoilers, right? But I can tell you for a fact, it is worth your time. It's 8 episodes, and it's something that you will enjoy. The introduction, the conflict, the resolution, amazing. Just amazing. Moving on. Invincible. Now, Invincible finished this Friday. And Lord, Amazon has done an amazing job with the series. I found out yesterday that they've renewed it for season 2 and season 3, and trust me, it's well earned. Even if they've renewed it for the next 6 seasons, honestly, it's well earned. See, this series, I decided to binge, right? So I binged the first 7 episodes, and I waited to watch this final 8 episode. And I can tell you, every single second spent watching it, like when I started the series, it started with an A. Honestly, the introduction, it introduces us to our character, and then it progresses and progresses and progresses. But see, the final episode, which is the conclusion, sweet Lord in heaven, it elevated it. It was already this high, right? It elevated it all the way to like that stratosphere. It's up there, A++. You guys will definitely want to watch it. I'm going to do a quick review on it later on because it deserves it. It's earned that. It's amazing. I can't say enough about it. You guys should watch Invincible. You will enjoy it. Moving on. Justice Society World War II. It's an alternate Earth. So we get to see Wonder Woman leading the Justice Society of America. We see Hawkman. We see Black Canary. We see Jay Garrick Flash. So not Barry Allen or Wally West, but Jay Garrick Flash. And a couple of other heroes, right? So an alternate Aquaman and all these other guys. See, the Wonder Woman that we did not get to see in WW84, right? And the Wonder Woman that I've always known and loved from the comics and the animations, I got to see her shine in this animation. She's amazing. Like, Wonder Woman was kicking so much ass. There were some scenes where I was like, oh my God, Wonder Woman! No, really, it was beautiful. Like, Wonder Woman did an amazing job. The entire team did an amazing job. The animation, the action, the story, everything about it was worth the time. And it's one that I would definitely recommend. I spoke about The Baker and the Beauty. Now, it's, like I said, it followed that Jane the Virgin trope. Now, I'll say it right off the bat, it's not as funny as Jane the Virgin, but it's a very nice story. It's one that you would actually enjoy and you'd follow. And also, one thing that just got reinforced for me by watching The Baker and the Beauty is this. I sometimes, you just check social media and you see that one man is pissed at his woman for working in Hollywood and kissing other men. If you have a partner that does any form of telenovela, man, the passion in those series, they do it so well that you wonder if these guys are a couple in real life, because it's just so much passion, fam. It's hot. It makes you sweat. So, the story itself is compelling enough for you to actually want to watch it and see it through to the end. Yes, there are a couple of cliches here and there, but overall, it was a good watch, and I really enjoyed it. Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. That's Michael B. Jordan, right? I watched it yesterday. It was a good movie. It wasn't bad. If I'm going to rate it, I'll give it a 7. The introduction was good, really good. The conflict, the act 2, there were some parts where it was a little bit slow, right? But I liked the way it concluded, and it also opened up the entire universe, because Tom Clancy actually has a universe of these guys, and at the end of the day, they are called the Rainbow Team. So you see it in the game. There's the game Rainbow Six, for those of us that are gamers, you know about it. And you get to see how Michael B. Jordan's character, you get to see how his character ties into the entire universe. The movie is a good watch, so I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. Moving on. Now, there is one thing. Oh yeah, there's one thing I have to mention when it comes to any piece of media in general. If your music is tight, I think it just elevates it to another level. You get what I mean? Like if you guys hear something like dun 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 dun, dun. Most people know it's the Avengers theme, like by default. Imagine, like, remember when Falcon told Captain America, Cap, on your right, and then all the superheroes came, and then when they came, everybody lined up, right, and we're hearing dun 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 as it was coming on, and next thing you just hear Avengers assemble, like that was another screaming moment for me also, by the way. So something about it is great music elevates the visual. And that's something that you can also enjoy. Like, if you get me to use my Shazam often to try to identify this song and that song and that song without making it too distracting from the visual, I think it does a good job. And The Baker and the Beauty does that. Invincible, that I mentioned earlier, does that too. Great music. And also Yasuke on Netflix with the Black Samurai. It's just 6 episodes, but boy oh boy, 6 episodes of greatness. And I think Flying Lotus is the composer for it. So for some of you that know Flying Lotus, you identify some of his work. Flying Lotus is someone who already on his own was established in that electronic kind of space. So now imagine mixing that electronic thing with that Oriental music type thing in that samurai. So the Yasuke idea is this. It's set in the 15th century, right? So it has the samurais. But now we have the samurais on one arm, then we have robots and high-tech stuff on another arm, then we have the mystical stuff on another arm too, and all of that combined together to make Yasuke a beautiful piece of art. It wasn't a mess in any way. It was beautiful, it was well-paced, it was well done. I think Netflix and Amazon Prime right now, they are knocking it out of the park with their content. And speaking of Netflix again, the Mitchells versus the Machines. That is a beautiful piece of art. It's a love project, you could tell. See, from the very beginning, and I am not kidding, from the very beginning of that animation till the end, even beyond the end credits, you could tell that these guys put their hearts and their souls into this project, and it came out beautifully. See, the way it was animated, it's got that 2D style, but it's a 3D animation. The story, the core of the story, it's a family story. I mean, I have a list. For some people that know me personally, they know that I have a list of movies that I'll definitely watch with my kids when I have kids, right? Into the Spider-Verse is on that list. The Mitchells vs. the Machines, so upon watching it, I just knew definitely this is on that list. It's a beautiful watch. It's a family story. I'm going to do a quick review on that one too, so you guys will get to know more about it. But it's a fun ride from the beginning to the end, and I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. War is politics with bloodshed. Politics is war without bloodshed. Fred Hampton, Daniel Kaluuya's character, said that in Judas and the Black Messiah. For those of you that haven't seen it, I advise you do. The Oscars was this past Sunday, and he won Best Supporting Actor, an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And watching it, you understand why. The character, the story, the plot, I think it was beautiful. Some of the movies that we also recommended in previous episodes got an Oscar for either Best Supporting Actress or something else. The Father, Minari, Soul. For those of you that haven't seen Soul, you should. And speaking of Soul, 22 versus the Earth is a short clip about the 22 character versus the Earth. I was thinking the premise would be what 22's life is like now that she's on Earth, but I think it's just 22's life as a soul. I would love to see 22 as a human being, what her life is like on Earth, maybe a couple of years later. I mean, that will be sometime in the future, because now 22 will be a human being, and maybe at the end of the day, she won't remember who she was, so I understand why they made it as 22 as a soul, but that's one that I would love to watch. Now, one that maybe I'm late to the party, because sometimes I tend to be, even when it comes to watching stuff. There's this series that I just watched, Ginny and Georgia. And I watched it on Netflix, so it's also on Netflix. It got released earlier this year, on the 21st of February, earlier this year. Ginny is Georgia's child, right? Georgia is a white mom, Ginny is a mixed child. Her dad is black, her mom is white. And something that mixed kids get a lot is you're neither black nor white. So you're too white for the blacks, you're too black for the whites, right? So it tends to be an issue, and this was something that she was facing. But all of that aside, I did not really, funny enough, if it was just a story about Ginny and not Georgia, I probably wouldn't have continued the series. But see, the story of Georgia, her mom is 30 when she's 15. So which means her mom had her when her mom was 15, right? And what's crazy is this. when you get to see the story of what she's had to do and what she's still doing for their life to be the way it is, and they have some really, really nice flashbacks at the show of Georgia's life when she was younger, before she had Ginny and when she had Ginny, and that was what kept me hooked to the series. It wasn't Ginny's story, because I don't get it. It's like, when I watch some of these pieces of media, whether it's a movie or a series where there are teenagers, right? Some of the things these teenagers do, it makes it look as if I was never a teenager. Like, maybe I was just a child, and from a child I skipped being a teenager, and now I'm an adult. It's crazy, some of the things they do. Some of it, you get to empathize with them on. Some of it you understand, because there is a message being passed from the teenage point of view about the body dysmorphia mentality, looking at yourself in the mirror and trying to compare yourself to this image that you've seen online of what the perfect body should look like, right? So there are things about it that I agree are very, very, very important to be discussed, right? But then the thing that kept me hooked to the series, I would not lie, is the story of her mom, Georgia. Georgia's story is so complicated that it keeps you wanting to know more about the character. And they announced, I think it's maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, that season 2 has been approved. So they've been renewed for a second season. It's one that I would actually want to watch, because I want to see how the story progresses. So that's one that I can also recommend for you guys. And that's all for this week's episode of Geek vs. Nerd. If you like what you've watched, feel free to share. As sharing is caring. Subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. This has been El Teco for Geek vs. Nerd. Peace.